Captain Lee Soo-jin stood on the bridge of the New Horizon and watched the stars change color as her ship dropped out of faster-than-light speed. The blue shift faded away, and normal space appeared around them. They had done it. Humanity had finally traveled faster than light. "Report," Lee Soo-jin said to her crew. "All systems working perfectly, Captain," said Navigation Officer Park Hyo-jun. "We are now in the Alpha Centauri system. Distance from Earth is 4.3 light-years." Lee Soo-jin smiled. Dr. Park Hyun-woo had spent 20 years working on the faster-than-light drive at the Seoul Advanced Physics Institute. Many people said it was impossible. Many people said humans would never travel to other stars. Today those people were wrong. "Begin system scan," the captain ordered. "Look for planets. Look for anything interesting." The New Horizon was not a warship. It was an exploration vessel built for science and discovery. The crew of 35 people came from 12 different countries on Earth. They carried the hopes and dreams of all humanity. Communications Officer Kim So-young looked up from her station. Her face was excited. "Captain, I am getting strange readings. There are artificial signals coming from the third planet." "Artificial?" Lee Soo-jin moved to Kim So-young's station. "You mean made by intelligence?" "Yes, Captain. The patterns are too regular to be natural. Someone built whatever is making these signals." The bridge became very quiet. Everyone understood what this meant. They had found alien life. Not just simple life like bacteria or plants. They had found intelligent aliens who built technology. "Change course for the third planet," Lee Soo-jin ordered. "But approach slowly. We do not know if they are friendly." The New Horizon turned toward the third planet of the Alpha Centauri system. As they got closer, their sensors showed more details. The planet had cities. It had ships moving between the planet and several moons. The aliens had built a civilization. "Captain," said Science Officer Yoon Tae-min, "the alien technology is very advanced. Their ships are much larger than ours. Their energy readings are off the scale." Lee Soo-jin felt worried, but also excited. This was the greatest discovery in human history. But it was also dangerous. The aliens might see humans as enemies. "Send a basic mathematical signal," she decided. "Use prime numbers. Any intelligent species should understand mathematics." Kim So-young worked at her station for several minutes. Then she sent the signal toward the alien fleet. Prime numbers in a simple pattern: 2, 3, 5, 7, 11. The response came. Quickly. Too quickly. Alien ships changed course and moved toward the New Horizon at high speed. Their formation looked military. This was not a science mission. This was a war fleet. "Captain," Park Hyo-jun said, his voice tight with fear. 6 alien ships approaching. They will reach us in 20 minutes. Lee Soo-jin made a decision. "Do not run. We came here in peace. We will try to communicate in peace, but prepare the ship for emergency jump to faster-than-light speed." The alien ships were beautiful and terrifying. They looked like metal crescents, with smooth curves and no visible weapons. But the energy readings showed they carried enormous power. Each ship was 3 times larger than the New Horizon. One alien ship moved very close to the human vessel. A deep voice spoke over the communication system. The words were not human, but somehow Lee Soo-jin could understand them. The aliens were using some kind of translation technology. "Unknown vessel. You will prepare for boarding. Resistance will result in destruction." Lee Soo-jin took a deep breath. "This is Captain Lee Soo-jin of the human exploration ship New Horizon. We come from the planet Earth. We seek peaceful contact with your people. You will comply. Boarding will commence." A beam of energy connected the alien ship to the New Horizon. Lee Soo-jin felt a strange pressure in her head, like someone was trying to push thoughts into her mind. She looked around the bridge. Her crew members were holding their heads and looking confused. "Captain," Kim So-young said weakly, "I feel like someone is trying to control my mind." The alien voice spoke again. "Submit to the boarding process. Do not resist the compliance field." But Lee Soo-jin did not feel controlled. The pressure in her head was uncomfortable, But she could still think clearly. She could still make decisions. Whatever the aliens were trying to do, it was not working on her. All crew members who can still think clearly, raise your hands, she ordered. About half the crew raised their hands. The others sat at their stations with blank expressions. The aliens were using some kind of mind control technology, but it did not work on everyone. A section of the New Horizons hull opened without anyone touching the controls. The aliens were controlling their ship remotely. Strange figures floated through the opening. They wore armor that covered their entire bodies. Lee Soo-jin could not see their faces. The lead alien was tall and moved with authority. When it spoke, the voice was the same one from the communication system. I am War Commander Thexval of the Velkari Empire. You are now prisoners of the Empire. Your species will be evaluated for usefulness. Lee Soo-jin stepped forward. She was afraid, but she was also the captain. I am Captain Lee Soo-jin. Why did you attack us? We came in peace. Thexval tilted its head. You resist the compliance field. This is unexpected. Most species submit immediately to Velkari mental dominance. Mental dominance? Lee Soo-jin felt anger rising in her chest. You are trying to control our minds? All inferior species must be controlled. This is the natural order. But your species shows unusual resistance. This makes you dangerous. Other Velkari soldiers moved around the bridge. They examined the human crew and the ship's equipment. They spoke to each other in their own language. Lee Soo-jin caught some words through their translation system. Words like viral and contamination and elimination. Your evaluation is complete, Thexval announced. The human species is classified as a viral organism. You reproduce quickly. You adapt to new environments. You resist mental control. You represent a threat to the natural order of the galaxy. Wait, Lee Soo-jin said. We are not a threat. We just want to learn. We want to be friends. Friendship is not possible. Your species will be contained or eliminated. These are the only options. Thexval turned to its soldiers. Prepare the prisoners for transport. Send word to the Empire. The Sol system must be cleansed. Lee Soo-jin realized with horror what was happening. The aliens were planning to attack Earth. All of humanity was in danger because of this first contact. You cannot do this, she said. We have done nothing wrong. You exist, Thexval replied. That is enough. But then alarms started sounding on the alien ship. Thexval touched a device on its armor and listened to rapid alien speech. A distress signal, it said. The Empire requires our immediate return. You are fortunate, humans. Your execution is delayed. The Velkari soldiers moved quickly back to their ship. Thexval paused at the opening in the hull. Do not attempt to warn your homeworld. The Empire has many fleets. Your Sol system will be cleansed within one solar rotation. The alien ship disconnected and moved away with the rest of the fleet. Lee Soo-jin's crew slowly recovered from the mind control effects. Captain, Park Hyo-jun said, what do we do now? Lee Soo-jin looked at the alien fleet disappearing into space. Earth had no idea what was coming. Humanity had just made first contact with a hostile alien empire that wanted to destroy them. We go home, she said grimly. We go home and prepare for war. The New Horizon landed at Geneva Spaceport 3 days after the encounter with the Velkari Empire. Captain Lee Soo-jin had sent emergency messages ahead, but nothing could prepare Earth's leaders for what she had to tell them. The Global Defense Council met in emergency session within 6 hours. President Yang Mi-young sat at the head of a table surrounded by military leaders, scientists, and government officials from every major nation on Earth. Tell us everything, President Yang said, to Lee Soo-jin. Lee Soo-jin stood before the assembled leaders and described the Velkari Empire. She told them about the alien mind control technology. She explained how the aliens saw humanity as a dangerous virus that needed to be destroyed. How long do we have? Asked Admiral Kim Tae-hyun, the commander of Earth's space fleet. The alien leader said 1 solar rotation. That means 1 year, maybe less. Admiral Kim Tae-hyun reviewed the intelligence reports on his tablet. His face grew more worried with each page. Their ships are 3 times larger than our biggest vessels. Their energy weapons are beyond our technology. Their shields can stop any weapon we currently have. What about our nuclear weapons? Asked General Martinez from the American delegation. Useless, Li Sujin replied. Their shields would stop nuclear missiles before they could detonate, and their ships move too fast for our current targeting systems. The room fell silent. Everyone understood the situation. Earth's space fleet consisted of 12 military vessels and 40 civilian ships. Most were designed for operations within the solar system. None were built for real space combat. President Yang Mi-young stood up. We need options. What can we do in 1 year? Dr. Park Hyun-woo, the creator of faster-than-light travel, raised his hand. We could try to negotiate. Maybe offer them our FTL technology in exchange for peace. No, Li Sujin said firmly. They already classified us as viral. They believe we will spread and threaten other species. Negotiation is not possible. Then we fight, Admiral Kim Tae-hyun said. But we need better ships. Much better ships. President Yang looked around the table. I am authorizing the Phoenix Project. We will build humanity's first true battleship. We will use every resource Earth has available. The Phoenix Project began immediately. Admiral Kim Tae-hyun took overall command, but the real work fell to the engineers and scientists. Chief Engineer Choi Dong-ho led the design team at Luna Station, humanity's largest orbital construction facility. Choi Dong-ho had built most of Earth's current space fleet. He understood spacecraft better than anyone alive. The aliens have energy shields, he told his team. Our laser weapons will not work against them. We need something different. Dr. Yoon So-ra joined the project as weapons specialist. She had spent 15 years developing new military technology for the Korean Defense Ministry. Her idea was simple but revolutionary. Kinetic weapons, she explained to the design team. We build railguns that fire solid projectiles at incredible speed. Energy shields are designed to stop energy weapons. They may not be effective against physical objects. The railgun concept was not new, but building one large enough for a spacecraft was extremely difficult. The power requirements were enormous. The targeting systems needed to be perfect, and the projectiles had to be manufactured with exact precision. Programmer Kang Ji-ho worked on the most challenging part of the Phoenix project. The ship would need an artificial intelligence system more advanced than anything ever built. They're human. Pilots cannot react fast enough for space combat, he explained to Admiral Kim Tae-hyun. The distances are too great. The speeds are too high. We need an AI that can think faster than any human. Kang Ji-ho called his AI system Aegis, but Aegis was not like other computer programs. It was designed to work directly with human consciousness through a neural interface. The AI handles calculations and reactions, Kang Ji-ho said. The human provides intuition and creativity. Together, they can outthink any enemy. The neural interface was dangerous. Early tests caused severe headaches and memory loss in volunteer subjects. Some people could not use the system at all. Others suffered permanent brain damage. But a few test subjects adapted perfectly to the neural interface. Navigator Shin Hye-jin was one of them. She could connect her mind to the Aegis AI and control a spacecraft with her thoughts alone. Construction of the Phoenix took place in the hidden shipyards behind Luna. The ship was larger than any previous human vessel. It carried 4 railgun turrets, advanced armor plating, and the most sophisticated computer systems ever built. The armor was Chief Engineer Choi Dong-ho's masterpiece. Instead of trying to copy alien energy shields, he developed adaptive metal plating. The armor could absorb energy attacks and redistribute the heat across the entire hull. Their plasma weapons will still damage us, he admitted to the design team. But we can survive hits that would destroy our current ships. Dr. Yoon So-ra's railguns were equally impressive. Each weapon could fire a tungsten projectile at 20% of light speed. The kinetic energy was equivalent to a nuclear weapon, but concentrated into a projectile the size of a baseball. As construction continued, reconnaissance missions brought disturbing news. Long-range sensors detected a Valkyrie fleet massing at the edge of the solar system. The alien force was growing larger every week. 50 ships confirmed, reported intelligence officer Han Woo-sung. possibly more arriving daily. Admiral Kim Tae-hyun studied the reconnaissance data. How long until the Phoenix is ready? 6 months minimum, Choi Dong-ho replied. The neural interface still needs more testing. The weapon systems need calibration, the AI needs more training. The Valkyrie fleet will attack before then, Han Woo-sung warned. Our scouts estimate they will begin their advance in 4 months. President Yi. Yang Mi-young visited Luna Station to see the Phoenix under construction. The massive ship filled the entire assembly bay. Workers crawled over every surface, installing systems and running final checks. Will it be enough? She asked Admiral Kim Tae-hyun. The Admiral looked at the Phoenix and thought about the enemy fleet. 1 human ship against 50 alien vessels, the odds were impossible. It has to be enough, he said. It is all we have. The Phoenix launched ahead of schedule with many systems still untested. Captain Ryu Min-ho took command with a crew of 800 volunteers. They knew the mission was probably suicide, but they also knew that Earth depended on them. As the Phoenix left Luna orbit, long-range sensors detected movement at the edge of the solar system. The Valkyrie fleet was beginning its advance toward Earth. The war for humanity's survival had begun. Captain Ryu Min-ho had flown fighter jets for 20 years before joining the space program. He understood combat flying better than anyone in Earth's military. But the Phoenix was unlike any machine he had ever commanded. Systems check, he ordered from the captain's chair on the bridge. Railguns online, reported Weapons Officer Lieutenant Commander Park Ji-won. All 4 turrets responding to commands. Navigation systems active, said Navigator Shin Hee-jin. She wore a strange helmet connected to cables that led directly into the ship's computer systems. Aegis AI is ready for neural interface. Engine. Room reports all systems normal, called Engineering Officer Lee Min-soo over the communication system. The Phoenix was beautiful and deadly. The ship measured 800 meters from nose to tail. Its hull was dark gray metal that seemed to absorb light. 4 massive railgun turrets sat along the ship's spine, each one capable of destroying a city. Take us to the asteroid belt for weapons testing, Captain Ryu ordered. Navigator Shin Hye-jin closed her eyes and activated the neural interface. Her mind connected with the Aegis AI, and suddenly she could feel the entire ship as if it were her own body. She could sense the engines, the weapons, the life support systems. The Phoenix moved through space with grace that seemed impossible for such a large vessel. Traditional spacecraft moved like flying rocks, slow and clumsy. But the Phoenix danced between asteroids like a fighter jet. Neural interface is working perfectly, Shin Hye-jin reported. Her voice sounded distant and dreamlike. I can feel everything. The ship responds to my thoughts. They reached the asteroid belt where Chief Engineer Choi Dong-ho had placed several large rocks as target practice. Each asteroid was the size of a building and reinforced with steel plates to simulate alien armor. Weapons test, Captain Ryu ordered. Single shot from Turret 1. Lieutenant Commander Park Ji-won aimed the railgun at the first target asteroid. The weapon charged with a sound like thunder. Energy readings throughout the ship spiked as power flowed into the railgun's magnetic coils. Firing, Park Ji-won announced. The railgun fired with no visible flash or explosion. But the tungsten projectile hit the target asteroid at 20% of light speed. The rock simply vanished in a cloud of superheated plasma and metal fragments. Target destroyed, reported Sensor Officer Kim Da-bin. Complete vaporization on impact. The weapons test continued for 6 hours. Every shot destroyed its target completely. The railguns worked exactly as Dr. Yoon Sora had designed them. But there were problems with other systems. Neural interface is causing severe headaches, Shin Hye-jin reported after the first day of testing. I can only maintain connection for 30 minutes before the pain becomes unbearable. Dr. Yoon Sora, who had joined the crew for the testing phase, examined the neural interface readings. The human brain is not designed to process this much information. We need to find people who can adapt to the system naturally. Medical Officer Dr. Park Seo-jun tested every crew member for neural interface compatibility. Most people could not use the system at all. Their minds rejected the connection with the AI. Others suffered memory loss and confusion, but a few crew members adapted perfectly. Navigator Shin Hyejin was the best, able to control the ship's movement with incredible precision. Communications Officer Lee Dobbin could interface with the sensor systems to detect enemy ships at impossible distances. We have 12 people who can use the neural interface safely, Dr. Park Seo-jun reported to Captain Ryu. That is enough to operate the ship's critical systems. The Phoenix spent 2 months in the asteroid belt, testing every system and training the crew. Captain Ryu pushed them hard, knowing that combat would be much more difficult than target practice. The Valkyrie will not sit still like asteroids, he reminded his crew. They will shoot back. They will try to ram us. They will use every weapon they have. During the training period, reconnaissance ships brought disturbing news from the edge of the solar system. The Valkyrie fleet was growing larger. 70 ships confirmed, reported intelligence officer Han Woo-sung over secure communication, including one massive vessel that our sensors cannot fully analyze. Captain Ryu studied the reconnaissance data with his senior officers. The largest Valkyrie ship was 3 times bigger than anything they had seen before. Flagship, concluded Lieutenant Commander Park Ji-won. That is where their commander will be. If we can destroy that ship, we might break their formation. First, we have to survive their first attack, Captain Ryu replied grimly. The Phoenix returned to Mars orbit for final preparations. Chief Engineer Choi Dong-ho made last-minute improvements to the armor systems. Dr. Yoon So-ra calibrated the railguns for maximum accuracy. Programmer Kang Ji-ho updated the Aegis AI with new combat algorithms. But the most important preparation was psychological. The crew knew they were humanity's only hope. 800 people against an alien armada. The odds were mathematically impossible. We do not need to win, Captain Ryu told his crew over the ship's communication system. We only need to hurt them badly enough to make them reconsider attacking Earth. We need to show them that humans are not easy prey. Navigation Officer Shin Hee-jin spent hours connected to the neural interface, learning to control the Phoenix like an extension of her own body. The ship could perform maneuvers that would kill normal crews, but the neural interface allowed the crew to survive forces that would normally crush human bones. The AI compensates for acceleration, she explained to other officers. It adjusts gravity fields throughout the ship to protect us during extreme maneuvers. Communications Officer Lee Da-bin used her neural connection to extend the ship's sensor, range far beyond normal limits. She could detect enemy ships at distances measured in light minutes instead of light seconds. I can feel their ships like distant stars, she told Captain Ryu. When they begin moving toward the inner solar system, I will know immediately. The warning came 3 weeks later. Lee Da-bin sat up suddenly during her sleep shift, her eyes wide with alarm. Captain, she called over the emergency communication system. The Valkyrie fleet is moving. They are leaving the edge of the solar system. Estimated arrival at Neptune in 6 days. Captain Ryu reached the bridge within minutes. The Phoenix's crew prepared for launch with practiced efficiency. This was not a drill. This was the beginning of the war for Earth's survival. All stations report ready, announced Executive Officer Commander Yu Jae-sung. Take us to Neptune, Captain Ryu ordered. Maximum speed. We meet them as far from Earth as possible. The Phoenix accelerated toward the outer solar system. Behind them, Earth's remaining ships took defensive positions around the home planet. Ahead of them, 70 alien warships advanced like a wave of death. Navigator Shin Hye-jin connected to the neural interface and felt the ship respond to her thoughts. The Phoenix was ready for battle. The question was whether humanity was ready for war. The Valkyrie fleet arrived at Neptune like a storm made of metal and energy. 70 warships moved in perfect formation, their hulls gleaming with alien technology. At the center of the fleet, the massive flagship World Ender dominated space, like a floating city. War Commander Thexval stood on the bridge of the World Ender and surveyed the Neptune system. The gas giant hung in space like a blue jewel, surrounded by rings of ice and rock. Long-range sensors showed no sign of human resistance. Scan for enemy vessels, Thexval ordered his crew. No contacts detected, reported the sensor officer. The humans appear to have withdrawn to their inner planets. Cowards, Thexval said with satisfaction. Begin transmission to the human homeworld. The message traveled across space to Earth in minutes. President Yang Mi-young received it in the emergency command center beneath Geneva. People of Earth, Thexval's translated voice echoed through the bunker. Your species has been judged, viral and dangerous. You will surrender immediately. You will submit to Velkari control. You will provide all information about your faster-than-light technology. Compliance will be rewarded with quick death. Resistance will result in prolonged suffering. President Yang looked at the military officers around her. Admiral Kim Tae-hyun stood with his arms crossed, his face grim but determined. Send our reply, the president ordered. Communications officer Park So-young transmitted Earth's response. It was short and simple. No. On the world ender, Thexval listened to the human refusal with amusement. Predictable, he said to his officers. Begin advance toward the inner planets. Destroy any resistance. Prepare bombardment systems for planetary sterilization. The Velkari fleet moved deeper into the solar system. Their formation was beautiful and terrifying. Smaller destroyers scouted ahead. Heavy cruisers protected the flanks. The world ender commanded from the center, its weapons capable of destroying entire moons. That was when the Phoenix appeared. The human battleship emerged from behind Neptune's largest moon like a predator emerging from cover. Compared to the alien fleet, it looked impossibly small. One ship against 70. One crew against thousands of enemies. Single human vessel detected, reported the Velkari sensor officer. Distance, 50,000 kilometers. Thexval studied the readings, with interest. Interesting. They built a new ship, larger than their previous vessels but still insignificant. Captain Ryu Min-ho sat in the command chair of the Phoenix and watched the alien fleet on his main screen. The enemy ships stretched across space like a carpet of death. He had seen impossible odds before, but this was beyond anything in military history. All stations report ready for combat, announced Executive Officer Commander Yu Jae-sung. Navigator Shin Hye-jin activated the neural interface and felt her consciousness merge with the ship's AI. Suddenly, she could sense every enemy vessel, their positions, their speeds, their weapons. The Aegis AI fed tactical data directly into her mind. I can feel them, she reported. 72 ships total. The big one in the center is their command ship. Communications Officer Lee Da-bin monitored alien transmissions. They are discussing whether to ignore us or destroy us first. They do not consider us a serious threat. Let them underestimate us, Captain Ryu said grimly. Weapons. Prepare for first strike. Target the lead destroyer. Lieutenant Commander Park Ji-won charged the forward railgun. Power readings throughout the ship climbed as magnetic coils energized. The Phoenix had trained for this moment, but actual combat would be different from target practice. Range 50,000 kilometers and closing, reported Sensor Officer Kim Da-bin. Enemy formation maintaining course. The Velkari destroyer continued its approach, apparently unaware that the human ship possessed long-range weapons. Alien energy shields glowed around the vessel's hull, confident protection against any human attack. Fire, Captain Ryu ordered. The railgun launched its tungsten projectile at 20% of light speed. The round crossed 50,000 kilometers in less than a second. The Velkari captain had no time to evade or raise additional shields. The projectile punched through the alien energy shields like they were paper. It penetrated the destroyer's hull and exited through the opposite side, leaving a hole the size of a building. Atmosphere and debris erupted from both wounds. Secondary explosions tore the ship apart from inside. The destroyer died in seconds. On the world ender, Thexval watched the destruction with shock. No human weapon should have been able to penetrate Velkari shields. No human ship should have had the range to fire from 50,000 kilometers. Analysis, he demanded. Kinetic projectile, reported his weapons officer. Physical impact, not energy-based. Our shields are not designed for this type of attack. One lucky shot, Thexval decided. All ships converge on the human vessel. Destroy it immediately. The Valkyrie fleet changed formation and accelerated toward the Phoenix. Plasma cannons charged with deadly energy. Missile tubes loaded with antimatter warheads. 71 ships focused their attention on one human battleship. Captain Ryu watched the enemy fleet approaching and smiled grimly. Now we see what the Phoenix can really do. Navigator, evasive maneuvers. Use the ring system for cover. Shin Hye-jin thought the command, and the Phoenix responded instantly. The ship dove toward Neptune's rings, moving at speeds that would crush normal crews. But the neural interface compensated for acceleration, protecting the human crew from forces that should have killed them. The Phoenix disappeared into the ice and rock of Neptune's rings like a fish diving into water. The Valkyrie fleet followed, but their larger ships could not maneuver as easily in the debris field. Contact, reported Kim Dobbin. 6 enemy destroyers entering the rings behind us. The Phoenix turned to face its pursuers. In the confined space of the ring system, the Valkyrie could not use their numerical advantage. The ice and rock provided cover while limiting their formation options. Fire at will, Captain Ryu ordered. All 4 railgun turrets fired simultaneously. 4 tungsten projectiles tore through space and found their targets. 2 Valkyrie destroyers exploded immediately. A third lost its forward section and spun out of control. The 4th managed to evade, but its shields failed completely. Impossible, HFY said as he watched 4 more ships die. How can one human ship destroy our vessel so easily? Their weapons ignore our shields, his tactical officer reported. And their ship moves faster than our targeting systems can track. Then we overwhelm them with firepower, HFY decided. All ships, concentrate fire on the human vessel. Continuous bombardment. 20 Valkyrie ships entered Neptune's rings and began firing at the Phoenix. Plasma bolts lit up space like artificial lightning. The ice and rock of the ring system vaporized under the intense energy bombardment. But the Phoenix was no longer where they expected it to be. Navigator Shin Hye-jin used the neural interface to pilot the ship through impossible spaces. She flew between ice chunks the size of buildings, using them as shields against enemy fire. The Aegis AI calculated trajectories faster than any biological mind could comprehend. The Phoenix emerged from behind a large asteroid and fired again. Another Valkyrie cruiser died in a flash of exploding metal and escaping atmosphere. The human ship vanished back into the debris field before the aliens could return fire. They are using hit-and-run tactics, the Valkyrie tactical officer reported. Our ships cannot maintain formation in the ring system. HFY felt something he had never experienced before: doubt. The humans were not fighting like any species the Valkyrie had ever encountered. They were unpredictable, they were innovative, they were dangerous. Withdraw to open space, he ordered, force them to fight in formation. But Captain Ryu had no intention of fighting a formation battle. The Phoenix used the ring system like a fortress, striking from cover and disappearing before the enemy could respond. 11 enemy ships destroyed, reported Lieutenant Commander Park Ji-won. Ammunition reserves at 70%. The Phoenix had fought for 3 hours and suffered only minor damage from glancing hits. The alien fleet, however, was learning to fear the human battleship. Several Valkyrie captains requested permission to withdraw from the engagement. No retreat, HFY commanded. We outnumber them 60 to 1. Eventually they will make a mistake. But the Phoenix continued its deadly dance through Neptune's rings. Every attack destroyed another alien ship. Every evasion left the Valkyrie, wondering where the human vessel would appear next. The Battle of Neptune's ring had begun with impossible odds. Now, for the first time, those odds were starting to change. The battle had raged for 8 hours. Neptune's rings glowed with the heat of vaporized ice and metal debris from destroyed ships. The Phoenix continued its deadly hunt through the asteroid field, while the Valkyrie fleet struggled to adapt to human tactics. War Commander HFY studied the tactical display on the World Enders Bridge. Red markers showed the locations of destroyed Valkyrie vessels. 18 ships lost, 18 crews dead, all from a single human battleship. Status report, he demanded from his tactical officer. 42 vessels remaining in combat formation, the officer reported. The human ship continues to evade our targeting systems. Their weapons have proven effective against our shields. Effective? Thexaval's voice carried barely controlled. They are destroying us ship by ship. This is more than effective, this is impossible. On the Phoenix, Captain Ryu Minho reviewed the battle situation with his senior officers. The human ship had taken several hits, but Chief Engineer Choi Dong-ho's adaptive armor had absorbed most of the damage. Armor integrity at 85%, reported Engineering Officer Lee Min-soo. The alien plasma weapons are powerful, but our metal plating disperses the heat across the entire hull. Ammunition status? Captain Ryu asked. 50% remaining, Lieutenant Commander Park Ji-won replied. But we are making every shot count. Our accuracy rate is 92%. Navigator Shin Hye-jin maintained her connection to the neural interface despite the strain on her mind. The constant battle had pushed her abilities to their limits, but she could still feel every enemy ship through the Aegis AI. The alien formation is breaking down, she reported. Their captains are becoming afraid. Some ships are holding back, instead of pressing the attack. Communications Officer Lee Da-bin intercepted alien transmissions and translated them for the crew. Several Velkari captains are requesting permission to withdraw. Their commander is refusing. He sounds desperate. Captain Ryu smiled grimly. Fear is our greatest weapon now. They came here expecting easy prey. Instead, they found hunters. Phoenix emerged from behind a large ice chunk and targeted a Velkari heavy cruiser. The alien ship tried to evade, but the railgun round caught it amidships. The kinetic impact tore the vessel in half. Both sections exploded as their reactors overloaded. 19 enemy ships destroyed, announced Sensor Officer Kim Da-bin. Enemy formation continues to deteriorate. Thexval watched another ship die and felt his confidence crumbling. The Velkari Empire had conquered dozens of star systems. No species had ever successfully resisted their fleets, but these humans fought with a ferocity and cleverness that defied all military doctrine. New orders, he transmitted to his remaining captains. All ships will converge on the human vessel, ramming speed. If we cannot destroy them with weapons, we will crush them with mass. 20 Velkari ships accelerated toward the Phoenix's last known position. Their hulls glowed with energy as they pushed their engines beyond safe limits. If they could not win through superior firepower, they would win through sacrifice. But Navigator Shin Hye-jin sensed the enemy's change in tactics through the neural interface. The Aegis AI calculated the aliens' new attack vectors and suggested a response that was both brilliant and insane. Captain, she said, her voice distant and dreamlike, the AI has an idea. We can use their own tactic against them. Explain, Captain Ryu ordered. They are trying to ram us, but if we position ourselves correctly, we can make them ram each other instead. The Phoenix dove deeper into Neptune's ring system, with 20 alien ships in close pursuit. The human battleship led them through a narrow canyon between two massive ice formations. The pursuing Velkari vessels had to fly in single file to follow. At the perfect moment, the Phoenix executed a maneuver that should have been impossible. Navigator Shin Hye-jin used the neural interface to flip the ship completely around while maintaining forward momentum. The Phoenix was suddenly flying backwards, facing its pursuers. All 4 railgun turrets fired at once. The tungsten projectiles struck the lead Velkari ship and punched completely through its hull, but the rounds did not stop there. They continued through the ice canyon and struck the ships behind the first target. 4 railgun rounds destroyed 6 alien vessels in a chain reaction of exploding metal and superheated plasma. The remaining pursuers crashed into the debris field or collided with each other as they tried to avoid the destruction. 12 enemy ships destroyed in one attack, reported Lieutenant Commander Park Ji-won with amazement. The canyon focused our fire like a funnel. Thexaval stared at his tactical display in horror. Half his fleet was gone. The humans had turned his own attack against him, using the Velkari ship's aggressive tactics to multiply the effectiveness of their weapons. All remaining vessels, he transmitted, withdraw to minimum engagement range. Do not close with the enemy ship. Use long-range bombardment only. But the Phoenix did not give them time to reorganize. Captain Ryu pressed his advantage, knowing that hesitation would allow the aliens to adapt to his tactics. "Take us out of the rings," he ordered. "Time to show them what we can do in open space." The Phoenix emerged from Neptune's ring system like a predator leaving its den. The remaining Valkyrie ships tried to maintain distance, but the human battleship was faster and more maneuverable than they had expected. Communications Officer Lee Dobbin used her neural interface connection to jam alien communications. The Valkyrie ships lost coordination as their command signals became scrambled. Individual captains began making their own decisions instead of following fleet doctrine. "Enemy formation is completely broken," she reported. "They cannot coordinate their attacks." The Phoenix hunted the scattered alien vessels one by one. Each engagement was quick and decisive. The Valkyrie ships had superior numbers, but they fought as individuals instead of a unified fleet. Railgun rounds tore through alien hulls with mechanical precision. Lieutenant Commander Park Ji-won had become an artist of destruction, placing each shot exactly where it would cause maximum damage. 28. Valkyrie ships remained operational when the first alien captain broke completely. "I surrender." The transmission came in broken human language. "Please, no more killing. I have crew, I have family." Captain Ryu felt a moment of sympathy for the alien commander, but he could not show mercy. Earth's survival depended on making the Valkyrie fear human retaliation. "Tell your war commander that humans do not accept surrender from viral exterminators," he replied. "You came here to destroy our world. Now face the consequences." The railgun round ended the alien captain's pleas forever. Thexval realized that his invasion fleet was doomed. The humans had proven themselves superior in every aspect of space combat: their weapons, their tactics, their technology, and most importantly, their will to fight. "Signal the remaining ships," he ordered his communications officer. "We withdraw to the edge of the system. Prepare for emergency faster than light jump." "War commander," his tactical officer said quietly, "the Empire will demand an explanation for this defeat." Thexval looked at the tactical display showing the wreckage of his once mighty fleet. 43 ships destroyed by a single human battleship. It was the worst military defeat in Valkyrie history. "Tell the Empire that we have encountered a species unlike any other," he replied. "The humans are not viral organisms to be exterminated. They are apex predators, and we have awakened them to the existence of prey among the stars." The surviving Valkyrie ships fled toward the outer solar system, leaving behind the debris of their shattered invasion fleet. The Phoenix had won an impossible victory, but Captain Ryu knew the war was far from over. "Set course for Earth," he ordered. "We need to prepare for their return. Next time, they will bring more ships." 3 months after the Battle of Neptune's Ring, Captain Ryu Minho stood before the United Nations General Assembly in New York. Behind him, a massive screen showed images of the Phoenix and the wreckage of the Valkyrie invasion fleet. "Honored delegates," he began. "Humanity has announced its presence to the galaxy. We are no longer alone in the universe, but we have proven that we will not be victims." The assembly hall was completely silent. Representatives from every nation on Earth listened as Captain Ryu described the battle that had saved their world. "The Phoenix destroyed 43 alien warships," he continued. "We suffered minimal damage and 0 casualties. The enemy fleet retreated beyond our solar system and has not returned." President Yang Mi-young sat in the front row, remembering the desperate months when Earth's survival had seemed impossible. The Phoenix project had succeeded beyond anyone's expectations, but she knew the victory was only the beginning. After Captain Ryu's presentation, the delegates asked many questions about humanity's future in space. The most important question came from the European Union representative. "Captain Ryu, do you believe the aliens will return?" "Yes," he replied without hesitation. "The Valkyrie Empire spans many star systems. They will not accept defeat from a single human ship. They will return with larger fleets and better preparation." "Then what do we do?" asked the representative from Japan. Captain Ryu smiled. "We build more ships, many more ships." Admiral Kim Tae-hyun presented the military expansion plan that afternoon. The Phoenix had proven that human technology could defeat alien weapons, but Earth needed an entire fleet to defend against future attacks. "We will build 20 Phoenix-class battleships within 2 years," he announced. Each ship will carry improved weapons and better armor than the original Phoenix. Chief Engineer Choi Dong-ho had already begun designing the next generation of human warships. The new vessels would be larger and more powerful than the Phoenix, incorporating lessons learned from the battle with the Valkyrie. "The Mark II Phoenix will carry 8 railgun turrets instead of 4, he explained to the assembly. "The neural interface system will be improved for longer combat operations, and each ship will carry a full wing of fighter craft for close support." Dr. Yoon So-ra presented her plans for new weapon systems. The success of kinetic projectiles against alien shields had opened entirely new possibilities for human military technology. "We are developing missile systems that combine kinetic warheads with faster-than-light delivery," she told the assembly. "These weapons will allow us to strike enemy fleets before they enter our solar system." Programmer Kang Ji-ho had been working on improvements to the Aegis AI system. The neural interface had proven crucial to the Phoenix's success, but it needed refinement for mass production. "We have identified the genetic markers that allow humans to use the neural interface safely," he reported. "Approximately 1 in 50 people can connect with the AI systems. We estimate that Earth's population includes over 100 million potential neural pilots." The implications were staggering. Humanity could build not just 20 ships, but hundreds. Each vessel could be piloted by humans whose minds were directly connected to advanced artificial intelligence. But the most important development came from an unexpected source. Communications Officer Lee Dobbin had continued analyzing the alien transmissions intercepted during the battle. Her discovery changed everything. "The Valkyrie Empire is not the only alien civilization," she announced to the assembled delegates. "During the battle, I intercepted communications from other species. Some were allies of the Valkyrie, but others were their enemies." The translation data revealed a complex political situation among the stars. The Valkyrie Empire had conquered many worlds, but they also faced resistance from other alien civilizations. Humanity was not alone in opposing Valkyrie expansion. "We have potential allies," Lee Dobbin explained, "species that have been fighting the Valkyrie for decades. If we can contact them, we might form a coalition against our common enemy." President Yang Mi-young saw the strategic possibilities immediately. "We need to reach out to these other civilizations. Humanity cannot face the entire galaxy alone." The first diplomatic mission launched 6 months later. The exploration ship New Dawn, equipped with advanced communication systems designed by Lee Dae-bin, traveled to the coordinates extracted from Valkyrie transmissions. Captain Park So-young commanded the mission. She had served as Lee Soo-jin's second officer during the original First Contact disaster. Now she led humanity's first attempt at positive alien diplomacy. The New Dawn found the Corvani Republic in the Vega system. The Corvani were a peaceful species that had been fighting a defensive war against Valkyrie expansion for 20 years. They were amazed to learn that humans had defeated an entire Valkyrie invasion fleet. "Your species destroyed 43 Valkyrie ships with 1 vessel?" asked Ambassador Veltar through the translation system. "This is unprecedented. No single ship has ever achieved such victory against the Empire." Captain Park So-young showed the Corvani the battle recordings from the Phoenix. The aliens studied human tactics with great interest, particularly the use of kinetic weapons and neural interface technology. "We would welcome humanity as allies in the Galactic Defense Coalition," Ambassador Veltar declared. "Together, we can push back against Valkyrie tyranny." The alliance formed quickly. Within a year, human ships were fighting alongside Corvani vessels and 3 other species in the coalition. Humanity's reputation as fierce warriors spread throughout the galaxy, but the most important battle was still being fought in Earth's solar system. The Phoenix had returned home as humanity's first true battleship, but Admiral Kim Tae-hyun was already planning for the future. "The Valkyrie will return," he told the crew during a ceremony at Luna Station. "When they do, they will find not 1 human ship, but an entire fleet." The shipyards around Luna worked constantly building new Phoenix-class battleships. Each vessel was crewed by volunteers who understood they were humanity's guardians against an hostile galaxy. Navigator Shin Hee-jin had been promoted to captain and given command of the second Phoenix-class ship, the UES Defiance. Her experience with the neural interface made her the perfect choice to train new pilots. The interface is not just about controlling the ship, she taught her students. It is about becoming one with the vessel. You must think like the ship thinks, move like the ship moves, fight like the ship fights. Lieutenant Commander Park Ji-won became the head of the new Naval Gunnery School, training weapons officers for the expanding fleet. His precision during the Battle of Neptune's Ring had become legendary among Earth's military. Every shot must count, he instructed his students. In space combat, there are no second chances. Miss your target, and your ship dies. Hit your target, and your crew lives. 2 years after the Phoenix's victory, the expanded human fleet consisted of 18 battleships, 40 destroyers, and hundreds of support vessels. Each ship carried the lessons learned from humanity's first space battle. The Valkyrie did return, as Admiral Kim Tae-hyun had predicted. But instead of 70 ships, they brought 300 vessels from across their empire. War Commander Thexaval had convinced his superiors that humanity represented an existential threat to Valkyrie civilization. The second battle of the solar system lasted 3 days. Human ships fought with the same innovative tactics that had won the first battle, but now they had the numbers to match their enemies. Captain Ryu Min-ho, still commanding the original Phoenix, led the human fleet against the Valkyrie armada. The battle ranged from Mercury to Pluto, as both sides used the entire solar system as their battlefield. When the fighting ended, the Valkyrie Empire had lost over 200 ships. The human fleet lost 12 vessels, but every crew fought with the knowledge that they were protecting their homeworld. Thexful himself died when the World Ender was destroyed by a coordinated attack from 6 human battleships. His final transmission was a warning to the Valkyrie Empire about the growing power of humanity. They are no longer a single ship, he broadcast as his flagship exploded around him. They have become a fleet. They have become a force that can challenge the Empire itself. The surviving Valkyrie ships retreated deep into their own territory, carrying news of their second defeat. Humanity had proven that Earth could not be conquered, but more importantly, they had shown that human expansion into the galaxy was inevitable. President Yang Mi-young addressed the United Nations one final time before retiring from office. "We built the Phoenix to defend our world," she said. "But we discovered that we built much more than a battleship. We built humanity's future among the stars." Captain Ryu Min-ho, now promoted to admiral, stood before the assembled representatives and outlined humanity's new mission. "The galaxy is vast and full of wonders," he said. "There are species that need our help and worlds that need our protection. We will explore. We will defend. We will ensure that freedom survives among the stars." The Phoenix and her sister ships launched from Earth shipyards on regular patrols, protecting human colonies and allied species throughout the local galactic sector. Each vessel carried the same determination that had won humanity's first space battle. Humanity had entered the galactic community, not as refugees or supplicants, but as equals. They had proven the